Okay, so I wanted to do my top 10 arcade games from 1992 this time around. Really good year again for arcade games. One of my favorite years. I'm gonna go start off with a game from Namco called X-Vania. Now it's actually a Castlevania and like inspired game. But it's the orientation's different. Like the viewpoint is different. This time it's a single screen game. Um, think like maybe like a Bomberman, or it's not really exactly like a Bomberman, but think of that viewpoint, like the way that game looks, but in a Castlevania setting. And it's a multiplayer, and there's all kinds of levels. And you're like Castlevania style characters, and you can use a. I think you can use a whip and different other weapons and get items and fight off a bunch of enemies that are also on the screen. That's a great game by Namco. I never hear anybody talking about this game, even like Castlevania fans. Um, to be honest with you, actually, this is one of my favorite Castlevania. I mean, this is one of my favorite games with that. Um, I don't think it's in the Castlevania series really, but it's like an inspired by Castlevania. Um, I really like that game a lot. That gets put in my top 10 for 92. And I'm gonna go with GI Joe from Konami for my next one. It's a 3D like sprite scaler. That's a really cool game. I was a big fan of GI Joe back then, back in the day, and I'm really glad they made this game. I think it's my favorite GI Joe game to date. I like it. I do like the NES GI Joe games though a lot. Those are fun too. Um, I am going to make these like top 10 lists for like consoles and computers too. So hopefully stay tuned. You stay tuned for that. GI Joe, the arcade game from Konami, 3D sprite scaler run and gun style game shooter. And let's see, what would the third one be? What would my let's see. I think I'm gonna go with Mystic Riders by Irem. It is similar to Cotton in that you're a witch on a broomstick. It's a like a cute shooter style game, horizontal. Love that game. Loved the Cotton game, so Mystic Riders just as good, just as fun. That's got to go in my top 10. Um, and if I remember correctly, is Taito's game Riding Fight, was that 3D sprite scaler where you're kind of like, where the screen's like moving really fast forward and you're like fighting on like vehicles and platforms and stuff? I don't know if that came out in 92 or 93. It's, um, if so, I hope that's the game that I'm thinking of. I thought that was really cool, so I'm gonna put that on my list. I think it's the Riding Fight game. It's been a long time since I played that, um, but I'll put that on the list. I didn't realize it came out in '92. I thought it was like '93, but that's going on the list as well. And now for one of my favorite beat 'em up games of all time from Technos, it's Shadow Force. I really like the way this game looks. It looks just so crisp and vibrant. The colors and the graphics, and just a really cool beat 'em up game. Definitely check it out. Same developers that made like Double Dragon, the Double Dragon series, Shadow Force is great. That's got to go on my list. I think I'm on number 6. I'm gonna go with Viewpoint by Sammy. It's it's an isometric style shooter. Looks great. I haven't played it in a really long time, so I don't remember how much fun I had with it. But I remember I liked it. So I'm gonna put it on the list. Since I guess it's kind of unique. Um, and for number 7, I got another shooter. I got a horizontal shooter here called Androdunos. I think it's was made by Visco. It's on the Neo Geo. I consider Neo Geo an arcade, same thing. Um, I consider base. What I'm trying to say is Neo Geo games are arcade games to me. Um, but yeah, I mean, Andrew Adunos is a really cool horizontal shooter. Definitely check that one out as well. Like a space shooter, but um, you go into like alien landscapes and stuff too. Like I think you like descend into them and stuff. Um, yeah, I like that one a lot. Let's see, we got 3 more left. I'm gonna go with Dead Connection by Taito. It's like a run and gun. I don't know. I don't want to say a 3D perspective. I don't know how to describe the perspective, the way it looks, but that's a really good one too. Definitely check that one out. Um, it reminds me of like like games like I think like Cabal and Blood Brothers. Um, like that. Like it's not first person 3D perspective. It's more like maybe third person. I don't know how to describe it exactly. I think you can see your character and stuff. It's a good game. A Dead Connection by Taito. And I'm gonna put another shooter on here. This time it's an overhead shooter. Dog Yoon by Teoplan. This game is crazy. It has a great soundtrack. Very difficult. I can get pretty far in this game though. Pretty good at this one. You can get a couple different kinds of weapons. Each one is. I think you need to use all four of. I think there's 4 different main weapons to use, and I think you need to use all of them throughout the game for different stages and stuff. There's like it's a really good overhead shooter by Teoplan. I tend to like the 80s Teoplan games a little bit more, like the late 80s ones, but the 90s ones, the early 90s ones are really good too. And Dog Yoon is one of my favorites from Teoplan. Um, Check out my top 10 Teoplan arcade games if you want. I made a video on that as well. um, let's see, were we on? I think we got one more left to go. And for number 10, I think I'll go with Golden Axe 2. It's called The Revenge of Death Adder or something like that. That's a really good arcade game. Um, I don't know which Golden Axe I like better between 1 and 2. They're both good. I think I have better memories of the first one from a couple years prior. Um, but Golden Axe 2 is just as classic. Really fun game. Good beat 'em up. I'm not the biggest fan of beat 'em ups, but there's certain ones that are just so good that it don't matter. Like Shadow Force, the Golden Axe series. I still really like Double Dragon. Um, what else? I like Vigilante, Irem's Vigilante. It's kind of like Kung Fu Master in that order. Those are all good. Um, there's a game called Kiri Kinton by Taito that's good. It's late 80s sort of beat 'em up like style game. I like that. I like that one. Of course, the Turtles games, the early Ninja Turtle beat 'em ups are great. X Men, the arcade game. The Simpsons, we all know all that, all those though. Final Fight, a bunch of Capcom beat 'em ups that are good, right? But yeah, Golden Axe 2, that's a classic, just like the first Golden Axe, and that will round out my top 10 arcade games of 1992. And you let me know what your top 10 are from that year, and I will be back with another one of these videos soon.